Hello and welcome to race 10 in the Sportlink Grand Prix series, and it's the big one tonight, the Wroxham 5k. More than 1,100 runners will be tying the start line for what is widely regarded as one of the best races in Norfolk. Some of the fastest runners will be there as well. Let's go start speaking to them. I'm joined by race director Lee Youngs here this evening. Lee, how are the preparations going?
As well as can be expected. I think we've got a team of 80 or 90 that are helping me, so ideally my work should just be overseeing everyone. So hopefully everything's in place. We've got runners coming in, we've got the road closure sorted, so happy days. Can't really ask for much more.
So with 1,100 runners, there must be quite a lot of organisation that goes into this sort of event.
I have no idea when I took this on just how much goes into it. I've been running races for years and I've always turned up, run my race, got my medal and gone home. So this planning for this started back in November last year. When you start going for the application for the licence, absolutely everything, and then it just ramps up for the last month. So yeah, just cannot believe how much goes into a race.
Well, it seems to be going very well from my point of view. So Lee, just give us your best tip for running this course. What would it be?
Realistically, it's a relatively flat course, but what you don't realise is about 400 metres to go. Where you really want it is a bit of downhill, so save some for the last 400 metres and then absolutely gun it. We're
joined by Craig Bowen Jones, who's just embarked on a 250 mile challenge. He's just finished day 2. I think he might even get just over 3 miles in today, this evening at the Wroxham 5k. But Craig, can you just explain a little bit about the challenge itself?
I can indeed, yeah. The reason I took the challenge on was my mum got diagnosed 2 years ago now with Alzheimer's, and I wanted to give a little bit back to him and try and raise awareness for Alzheimer's, because it's not a greatly known disease, and you look out there and there's not many people understand what it's all about and the symptoms and how it starts. So the main reason is for the awareness. Obviously a little bit of money will be good, and on the back of that we support Horsewood Animal Sanctuary, the Feed, and also Holt Youth Project.
And just whereabouts is the journey taking you? You started yesterday, didn't you?
I started on Monday. We started at Angles Way, so we've gone all the way along Angles Way, and today we connected with Peddars Way midday and finished at Castle Acre today. Off Castle Acre all the way to Holm next to sea where Peddars Way finish. A little trundle up to Hunstanton to the start of Norfolk Coastal Footpath, all the way around the Coastal Footpath, finished at Hopton-on-Sea on Saturday. And then on Sunday I will start at Hopton-on-Sea and make my way down to my mum's home, which is Priory Paddocks at Darsham, where there's going to be a garden party and a little bit of celebration when I cross the line, hopefully at 3 o'clock.
That's really nice. And just finally, how are the legs feeling so far?
They're all right actually, but I will have to say they suffered a little bit on the final leg today, because Mr. Featherby decided to turn up and he said to me, "Will be a nice easy run at your pace." We start off at 8-minute mile pace, and then I said, "Neil's a bit quick." "Well, tell me you want to walk." "I'll walk now please, Neil." So yeah, no, the 5.5 mile done with Neil was thoroughly enjoyable. Normal stories as usual, and it went fairly quickly, so it was great.
You didn't get him so many gates, did you?
No, there was no gates on road. I want just a quick story if you don't mind. We turned up to find checkpoint 4, so I didn't know Neil was coming, so we turned up. There we are on the A47, just off the A47 there's Swaffham Round. It's a little lay-by, and the footpath goes to the A47 behind the lay-by. All of a sudden you see this Sportlink van turn off the A47 and cut through the footpath to the lay-by, and it's Neil driving.
Sounds like typical Featherby.
Yes.
Craig, thanks for joining us.
No problem, thank you.
Joined by Lord Mayor James Wright this evening, who's running it for Norfolk Gazelles. James, how are you feeling ahead of tonight?
Yeah, feeling good actually. I think it's difficult to know with 5Ks. They're sort of it's kind of often over before it started, but but looking forward to it. This is the 3rd time I've done this Wroxham 5K, so it's a good course, and we'll see what happens.
5K your favourite distance?
Yeah, I think it was, and it is. I do parkrun every week, so I kind of get used to 5K. I definitely getting more used to the longer distances at the moment, but 5K, yeah, definitely is the one I prefer. And actually, from a race point of view, it always seems to be the one where there are fewer opportunities to race at 5K.
Joined by Action 80 grand here on the Sportlink stall this evening. 80, what have we got here this evening?
Yeah, we've got our usual array of goods. On offer tonight, we've got the Brooks Adrenaline. Got them on offer race day, only £90. and we've got some of the Hoka Rincons for £70.
Great stuff. And what sort of shoes are they? Can you just tell us a little bit about the Adrenaline?
The Adrenaline are a good stable shoe. They've got the guide rails on them. A good cushion shoe. You can wear them if you're neutral or you need a little bit of support.
And about the Rincon, maybe is that sort of a bit more of a race shoe that you can maybe use that, but not a carbon plate?
It's a very lightweight shoe, the Rincon. And I'd say anything up to about 10k in the Rincon. It's a very lightweight shoe. Yep.
And what are your thoughts on the Wroxham 5K? It's one of the most widely participated sort of local races in the area. You run it a few times yourself?
I've ran it a few times myself. That's my PB course.
Which is?
17-16, a couple of years ago now. But yeah, that's a very fast course. I'd say it's the fastest 5k around. I can't believe that's the 10th race of the series so far. It's just flown by. I don't seem 5 minutes ago. That was a Valentine's 10k, the first one.
Any tips for racing this course?
Yeah, I always say respect the first 400 metres, just slightly uphill. And I always think in a 5k it's between 2 and 4k what makes the race. It's when you really just have to grit your teeth and hang on to the person in front.
Top man, thanks Adi. I'm joined by Bure Valley Harriers Michael Eckles here, fresh from his win at the Humpty Dumpty 10k on Sunday. He's here again looking for a fast time, no doubt.
Yeah, 5k not really my distance, but yeah, I've done the marathons and that in the spring, but I think you've got to change things up, haven't you? And I'd like to race more regularly, and yeah, I'll try and beat last year's time.
Any tips for sort of running this course? That downhill finish is quite nice, isn't it? Here?
Well, it is.
You've got to get to it first, though.
Well, it's a quick race, this, wasn't it? There's quite a lot of youngsters in this, and they go herring off at the start, and you can be way down the field, but you do tend to catch most of them up. But that's a flat course. I mean, what can I say? I feel like the biggest mistake you can make is in the first minute in this race, but 5k you have to get going pretty quickly, don't you? Otherwise the race is over.
Michael, best of luck, mate.
Cheers.
with men's winner Logan Smith, 14:45. Logan, that's pretty rapid. How did the race go from your point of view?
Yeah, it's a good race, thank you. Yeah, it was sort of quite fast, quite honest to begin with. There was a good group of us, sort of for the first kilometre, 2 kilometres, myself and Ruben. Sort of saw we went through the first K in about 2:50 and thought, okay, we are on for it today. And yeah, sort of from there, we sort of broke up a little bit. There was a few of us sort of trying to keep the pace honest, and then I think the sort of group sort of broke up into sort of about 3 or 4 of us. A few guys just behind, and sort of I was at the front just trying to keep it as fast as I could. Yeah. Sort of a few undulating hills I think in there at points. I think as you're sort of going out a little bit, it does definitely rise and then sort of dip off a bit. And yeah, I think it was a good race. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that from the front. And yeah, no, not a bad day's effort.
I'm with Izzy Rodriguez. She won in 16:53 today. Izzy, how did the race go from your point of view?
Yeah, it was great, really exciting race. Didn't know what to expect coming into today, been a bit of a busy week at work and just moving house, but it's such a great atmosphere here. Everyone just pushes you along, everyone in the crowd just shouting your name. It's just such a great atmosphere. I come back every year from Birmingham to run, and yeah, it's one of my favourite races of the year.
How did the race go from your point of view? Did you attach yourself to a pack, or how did it go?
So I've got a good rivalry with Mabel Beckett. We're good friends and we've been training partners for quite a few years. Obviously not anymore, but we come back every year and we're in quite similar shape. So I knew that if I sat on her, I'd have a good race, and out sprinted her in the last kind of 200 to 300 metres. I knew if I was within a few metres of her that I could probably get her on the finish line, so that was my tactic today, and yeah, it paid off. We both ran sub 17, so I'm really happy for her, and yeah, it was a great race.
So that's a wrap at the Wroxham 5K, some really fast times, plenty of PBs, but we'll be there next at the Worcester Festival later this month. And don't forget to catch up with our Humpty Dumpty 10K video on YouTube. There's a chance to win £100 worth of Sportlink vouchers to spend at Saucony, so check that out. And remember, perfect pace makes for the perfect race.